Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be doing the final parts to What If Naruto was a Rogue Puppet Master. Writing this entire series has been pretty interesting because I haven't seen anyone do this type of thing. Well, I've seen some people do some people do Puppet Master, but the Naruto never turned rogue. So, I want to see how I do it. And as I can clearly see, people like the way I did it, since my highest viewed video is almost at 100 views, and it was the first part of Rogue Puppet Master. Yesterday I uploaded the what's it called, the fourth or third part. Yeah, yesterday I uploaded the fourth part, and the thumbnail looks slightly different because I couldn't use the thumbnail I regularly use, so I had to pick a different one. So that explains that. So this is gonna be the last part of Rogue Puppet Master, and in like a couple hours or so, maybe even tomorrow, I should have um the full movie of Rogue Puppet Master and Skull of Ceiling should be out, and then I'll probably take like a 2-week break to, I don't know, relax, watch some YouTube, play some games, more games, and work on my next 2 what ifs, and I'll be revealing those at the end of each movie. At the end of the Puppet Master movie, I'll be revealing one of them, and at the end of the Skull of Ceiling movie, I'll be revealing another one. So if you want to know what else I'm gonna do next, I do recommend you watch both movies. Anyway, that out of the way, um, let's get on into it. Oh wait, before we get into it, if you hear any background noise, I apologize. I am not at the same place as I usually record, and you can probably hear like a fan in the background, but besides that, if I have to like stop in the middle of speaking, my bad. Now we can finally get into it. Chapter 8, The Final Showdown. Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, was informing the rest of the group that they're going to have to attack Naruto together as a group, since over the last 4 months, Naruto had been collecting the Biju himself, making himself the Tsuruki of all the tailed beasts. And he didn't seal the Biju inside of him, no, he killed the Tsuruki, then used his chakra strings to absorb the Biju inside of them, since they're pure chakra. And Pain looked at Sorcery when mentioning that he was a puppet master. Sorcery found this amusing and wanted to see if he was worth the title. But not a single one of them did a significant amount of research, because if they did, they'd know that Naruto has been making a puppet army over the last 4 months that could take over all the great villages at once. They all went out and they had gone to where Naruto was last seen. That was where Naruto got his strength from, the streets where those citizens that lived there harassed and abused him. Well, he got his revenge, to say the least. The Akatsuki had traveled to the village that seemed fine, but the moment all of them stepped inside of the village, steel barriers had surrounded the village and trapped them inside. Within this time period, he had made the entire Leaf Village a puppet that no one could escape from. Sasori had no choice but to audibly compliment the work of art that this mere 13-year-old had made out of his village. Yes, Naruto did all of this while he was 13. But while, yes, he had the mentality of a 13-year-old, his body was at its prime, but times 9 thanks to the Biju he's gathered. But it's multiplied by 9 thanks to the Biju he's gathered. Naruto then teleports all of them in front of him and sets ground rules. "I'm glad you've finally come," he started. "I've been waiting to show you my art, Sasori of the Wet Sand. Ever since I was a child in this cursed village, I've wanted to beat you with puppets of my own creation. So here's what I'm going to do. I will let Sasui stay back and watch while the rest of you will die to my idol puppets. Naruto had said that as a puppet of Hanzo the Salamander, Pakura of Scorch Release, the girl that can use really hot fire, the entire Hyuga clan without Neji and Hinata, the entire Uchiha clan without Sasuke, all the previous Kage, the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, Gari of Explosion Release, the guy that punches stuff and it explodes, Yoroi of Magnet Release, Kinkaku and Ginkaku, the people that ate Kurama and got some of his chakra, the Bloody Mist Puppets, or Zabuzahaku and the Demon Brothers if you forgot, the previous Jinchuriki, the Sand Siblings, Team Taka, the Sound 5, including Kimimaro, and the Sani. Excuse me. Instead of having an overwhelming massacre of his idol puppets, Naruto had all of them combined into a massive puppet that's the size of the Jubi, or Ten Tails. He had the massive puppet called Chikamatsu turn into a small bullet. Chikamatsu went towards Naruto's pinky finger, and with a simple flick, the bullet hit the Akatsuki and killed all of them. He had vaporized them to the point that unless you went with them, you'd never know that would be how they died, meaning that there was no evidence of them still on Earth. Naruto then goes to Sasori, who had his jaw on the ground from the performance he had just seen. He gets out of his Hiroko cell and says, "Forgive me for ever doubting your ability. I wanted to see if you're worthy of the title of a puppet master, and as I've clearly seen, you are more than worthy of that title. So, Naruto, the Konoha Crusher, will you duel me to see who the best puppet master to exist is?" And I know Konoha Crusher, not that great of a name, but all I could come up with, and what else would you call this man? Anyway, Naruto smiled and took out Storm, Kine, Woso, and Udi, and Vian, his first 5 puppets. "I will gladly have this duel with you, Sasori of the Red Sand." And the duel began. The puppets went full speed. Naruto's 5 all attacking Sasori's third Kazekage, and before long, the third Kazekage was obliterated. Sasori then quickly tried to use the strings to infuse his chakra in his puppets and break them, but the moment he did, he felt almost all his chakra absorbed. Hang on. Sorry about that. I guess you can call that technical difficulties. Anyway, the moment Sasori put his chakra strings in Naruto's puppets, he felt almost all his chakra absorbed. Sasori quickly removed his strings and replenished his chakra with them. Sasori took off his cloak and took out his 100 puppets, as well as Chikamatsu's 10 puppets that he took from Chiyo after he killed her. Naruto chuckles from this performance and says, "So it turns out the great Sasori needed his stomach to bring out only 100 puppets? I'll show you what I can do." Naruto then takes out 10,000 nameless puppets that were Kisama, my goodness. Naruto then takes out 10,000 nameless puppets that were Kisame with Samehada level. So like fused Kisame, like Stalk Kisame. These nameless puppets are on the same level as that Kisame. He had 1,000 puppets on each finger, and Naruto had all his puppets or was Sasori's puppets, and they got obliterated. Sasori was amazed since his strongest jutsu was taken down in seconds. Sasori then smiled and walked to Naruto. Naruto stopped his puppets and stood still. Sasori is now right in front of Naruto and says, "From the moment I started this battle, I knew I wouldn't be able to beat you. I just wanted to see the beautiful work of eternal art you had made. Now that I've seen enough, I will offer myself to your eternal collection of arts, if you would have me." Naruto smiled and replied with, I would be honored to have me and my idol live forever in eternal art." Eternal art this and eternal art that, yeah, I know. 15 years later, Naruto had conquered the world. And had turned everything into a form of his art. Whenever there was an Otsutsuki problem, it quickly got dealt with since the Earth was Naruto's weapon, and by this time, Naruto had perfected his scientific ninja tools to an Otsutsuki level. And when he killed every Otsutsuki, Naruto had removed his heart piece and he removed Sasuke's. They both nodded at each other, squeezing their hearts and killing each other. But when they had done this, the entire world had restarted. They had programmed themselves to have the world restart to Naruto's academy days, when their hearts had been destroyed at the same time. But when the world restarted, Naruto had become canon Naruto, and everything in that timeline had gone as canon. But there was a small difference. There was a legend of two people who surpassed Chikamatsu in puppetry. The weaker of the two were named Sasori, and the stronger one was named Naruto. So in this reboot world, Minato named Naruto after the legendary puppet master, and Sasori's parents named him after the legendary Sasori. But besides those things, everything had gone as canon. But when Boruto was born, he wasn't named Boruto. He was named Chikamatsu. What if Naruto was a rogue puppet master? Complete. Yeah, and that's that. Yeah, so about the ending, you might not like it, but in my defense, sorry about that. That someone's come downstairs. Yeah, you might not have liked the ending, but in my defense, it was the best thing I could think of. And if you're confused on what happened, I'm gonna explain it to you. So Naruto. So after Naruto had beat Sasori, or well, after Sasori had given his life to Naruto, Naruto and Sasori conquered the world together, making the entire Shinobi world their puppets. And and sorry about that. And every time there was a Otsutsuki problem, so like, excuse me for a moment. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I kept hearing weird noises. Anyway, yeah, every time there was a Otsutsuki problem, like Kaguya, Momoshiki, Kenshiki, Urashiki, Ishiki, every time there was a problem like that, Naruto had them dealt with in less than 10 seconds, considering, not 10 seconds, in less than 10 minutes, considering that he was the Bizu of, he was technically the Jinchuriki, as well as the Bizu of every tailed beast, meaning that he could infuse all his puppets with his Bizu Chakra, and considering the Earth was his puppets, he can make the Earth Bizu Chakra. And since he did this often, more and more Otsutsuki came to Earth for the Bizu Chakra, but then they just got killed. And because of this, every Otsutsuki got killed. And after Naruto was finished wiping them out and turning them into his own puppets, he decided to program his heart piece and Sasori's heart piece. So he programmed his heart piece to restart the entire world, restart the entire world to the canon Naruto timeline, like Naruto Shippuden, part 1 of Naruto, like the canon timeline. He made his heart piece and Sasori's heart piece to restart the world to the canon timeline if they were destroyed together, and they did that. But the only difference is that Naruto was named after the legendary, but Naruto was named after a legendary puppet master whose name was Naruto, and Sasori was named after a legendary puppet master whose name was also Sasori. And in this legend, they had both surpassed Chikamatsu. So yeah, that's my best way to explain it. If you still don't understand, try like listening to my explanation again and listening back to the story if you still don't understand. And even then, if you don't understand, I don't know what to say. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you watched this entire video, thank you. I'm surprised, considering that this is one of my shortest videos ever. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, no, this is the typical length of one of my videos. But yeah, I think that's all I need to say. Hope anyone watching this has a great day. Bye, and expect the movies to come soon. Noob out.